Undercurrent, sponsored by John Hughes in Victoria Park. Choose your station before you choose your program. Absolutely.
Can we trust in everything on the labels when we are shopping on supermarkets? Just because it says that the food is approved, it doesn't mean that we have to think this is a healthy product warranty. We need to check the labels and pay attention to additives, preservatives, antioxidants and flavoring answers contained on the food. We went to Jacinto Connor's nutrition event on Can Week Library to find out more information about it.
The diet diary we use in a clinic scenario where you actually write down what foods you consume. So you might have breakfast, morning tea, lunch, afternoon tea, dinner, snack at night time, and you actually write down everything you consume. And then next to that you'll write, for example, if you felt bloated after you consumed something, if you had wind, if you had reflux, gas, etc. You would write how you felt during those particular times. If you had trouble sleeping that night, if you woke up early, if you couldn't get to sleep, if you maintaining your sleep was difficult, all of that would be noted on your diet diary, and you do that for a period of a good couple of weeks, and then you can then start to see patterns. Like, for example, it might be when you consume pasta you might feel bloated after it, and maybe there's something to do with an intolerance to wheat, etc. So the diet diary allows you to highlight what foods are causing you some degree of uncomfortableness. Food is your body's fuel. It's what your body uses for needs for energy and uses for energy. And so if you were running your car, you wouldn't put petrol that was substandard into your car. You would protect that investment. It's no different to your body. You protect the investment that you have in terms of your health by putting good foods into your body. So good whole foods, fruit and vegetables, nuts and seeds, and whole grains and good quality meats into your body. And that will give you the appropriate fuel that your body needs. A lot of the farmers markets that are now open on a Saturday and a Sunday morning, and they contain a lot of organic produce, so produce that's been grown without pesticides, so pesticide free, and often a lot of whole foods, a lot of breads that have been baked traditionally, so traditional sourdoughs, etc., that have used the fermentation process. So that's one of the better ways to purchase food is through those markets. In terms of going to the supermarket, what people really need to be aware of is reading the labels, so they're fully aware of what they're putting into their bodies, and make appropriate choices for them and for their families. The labelling laws as they are now, not everything is listed on the labels. So for example, if an ingredient within a food, if there's an ingredient within that ingredient that is a very small percentage, then that actually doesn't have to be listed on the label. So no, not everything is on the label. Some manufacturers use what's called coal tar dyes, and some of those dyes in animal studies have been shown to be carcinogenic, some mutagenic, some can cause hyperactivity. There can be issues with asthma, so people that have respiratory issues can actually get a negative response physiologically to sulfur-based food additives. That's probably the one that you most need to look out for. If a product is not does have a lot of food additives that are not necessarily good for you, then find an alternative product. There isn't always an alternative that exists. But your body is actually detoxifying all the time. So if you actually give yourself good food and good whole food, then your body will work towards detoxifying itself anyway. And it does it in a very gentle way without having to use specific programs or detoxification packages that you can purchase off the shelf.
Organize yourself and plan your menu to have a healthier and nutritional meals every day. I'm Fernanda Mizin, reporting for Undercurrent.
Well, next up on Undercurrent, Luke Schubert catches up with a rather interesting gentleman who truly believes we're on the cusp of World War III.
Hello, Australia. I'm your Dr. Rob, and I'm here with one question. Australia, can we survive World War III?
Many predictions are flying around about the end of the world in 2012. Author Dr. Rob has a different idea and believes World War III will begin this year.
There's one nation on this earth that some 3 years ago they had 2,000 And this nation over the last 2 to 3 years has increased their centrifuges to now they have over 9,000 centrifuges that we know of. Why does a medium-sized nation need 9,000 to 10,000 centrifuges except to make plutonium? And we suspect they have 3,000 more that are way underground and we can't prove that they're there. The world cannot and will not allow this nation to get an atomic bomb. I think Australian people should not always accept what their government tells them, but seek truth. Our present government has insulted a nation by cutting off their protein in a snap decision, and they're now being supplied with live cattle from Canada, America, Argentina, and even our neighbor New Zealand. Iran has already threatened to wipe another nation off the earth. Now, that threat, and they've threatened to close 40% of the world's oil supply. And even France has come out now and said, we will not allow Iran to wipe Israel off the map.
They could put it in a missile. They're working on missiles that could reach the sea.
The United Nations is trying to play it down, and that's understandable. We want to keep peace. These people don't like to lose face. They will get revenge. Well, Iran is a very strong religious nation. They're very prejudiced against infidels, which we are. If Iran were stopped and had an attack on them, it would be classed, or they would probably interpret this as an attack on their religious beliefs, their faith. But there is 1,350,000,000 of them in the world. They're spiritual leaders, they're religious leaders. Announce international jihad, that means kill the infidels, then that would be World War III. And in the Korean War, we learned one battle plan that we could never win against, a human wave tactic. Now, no matter how much technology and ammunition and everything you have prepared, when the bugles blew in Korea, the whole forest started moving towards you. Every tree was a human. And they didn't stop coming for 3 days and 3 nights of fire. And finally, the order came, retreat. We cannot kill them fast enough. Australia, are you prepared for a human wave tactic?
This is what Dr. Rob thinks Australia should do to prepare for the impending war.
Australia's a nation, to survive, must develop a coast guard. You must have in reserves in your home, because the grocery shelves will be cleaned out quickly. You must have at least a month's supply of non-perishable food, water, and candles. You say, Dr. Rob, why a candle? If the temperature is 20 degrees below zero, you can go into the smallest room of your house, close it off completely, even blankets over the windows and everything, and in that room, light one candle in the middle of the room, and that will keep you from freezing to death.
I guess only time will tell if Dr. Rob's war predictions are correct. I'm Janae Tomlinson, reporting for Undercurrent.
Any questions, my dear?
Well, next up, we revisit John Hammond at the Court Wine Bar and his chat with the boss man of Raunchy Promotions, Stephen Zielinski.
Steve Zielinski, you're someone that has a very colourful history. Everybody knows you in Perth. In terms of what you do, your business, Raunchy Promotions, do you get much criticism from people about running an organisation which hires girls out to perform in hotels?
Yes, we get a lot of pro and negative criticism, but a lot of people don't understand the industry, and they say things to me that aren't true. They should really research it and have a look on our website, and then they'll find out more about the company. The girls are wearing basically more than what they were down the beach or Cottesloe Beach. You see more down Cottesloe Beach than you would behind a hotel in Western Australia.
That was something I was going to ask you about. Do you find it a little bit hypocritical that police would charge the girls for obscene behaviour when you have shows like Puppetry of the Penis at the Regal Theatre.
Well, that's true, John, because this state is the only state that we have these, a section of the Liquor Act that's been imposed by the former Labor government in 88 it was, and Pam Beggs put it on there, and it hasn't been removed by either government. And it's a waste of police time because there's so much happening out there that should be policed, and they're worrying about things like G-strings behind bars.
Steve, over the years you've been a pretty passionate fighter for things that you believe in. What are some of the things that really annoy you about our legal system and our judicial system?
Well, what frustrates not only me but a lot of the public out there is the fact that you can be victimised by a police officer or charged by bureaucrats and you defend your innocence. You go to court and you spend tens of thousands of dollars, and then just before your court case the police just drop it for no reason at all. Oh, we haven't got enough evidence, but it's cost you $45,000 to $50,000 defending your innocence until that time, and you don't get 1 cent back from the Crown.
And that actually happened to you, didn't it, on an insider trading charge where the case was dropped and you were unable to recoup 1 cent of your legal fees?
Correct, and that's not justice as far as I'm concerned. That's a very, very sad act of our legal system, because you get people out there that have mortgages that can't defend themselves and they just plead guilty, and that's why you get a lot of people pleading guilty to the point where they're not guilty and they just wear it.
And Steve, I mean, you're in the business of hiring out young, beautiful women to hotels for events. Do you have a young, beautiful woman on your side at the moment?
No, I don't, John, but I at this present time I'm having a few problems in that department, but we won't go there. But as far as, yeah, we hire out not only young, beautiful women, some of the girls there are quite educated, and we have different clientele out there that would hire them simply for communication. It's not just about looking good, it's about looking good, being able to handle yourself in a conversation, and also talking to different aspects of society.
And Steve, what do you do outside of your work in Raunchy Promotions? What other things do you do to keep occupied?
Oh, I do property development and also share trading, and involved in a new company called Biosis, which is, we've just experimenting with a German product which is a green factor. In other words, it turns stale water into fresh water.
Well, that'll be pretty popular in Western Australia right now.
Already trying it in Port Hedland and a few other places, so it's looking pretty good.
And pretty much over the last few years, Steve, you've been based in the city of Perth. Is Perth your true love, your true home?
West Australia's got many beautiful places. I'm in Perth at the moment because of business commitments and things like that. But yeah, it's great. Perth is a great city, and I think we're very lucky to be here. When you travel around other parts of the world, especially even the eastern states, you look at Perth and you think, what a beautiful city we're living in.
And Steve, I'm not expecting an answer to this question, but you're a man that doesn't like to reveal your age, aren't you?
Well, I don't think, over 45, I don't think a man should reveal his age.
So we know you're at least over 45.
That's correct, yes. We'll leave it at that, will we?
Gee, time flies when you're having fun, doesn't it? Well, that brings us to the end of another episode of Undercurrent, but we would love to hear what you think, so make sure you follow us on Facebook or on Twitter, or you can visit our website, wtvperth.com.au. I'm Christy Mollica, and I'm looking forward to seeing you next week for more of Western Australia's very own Undercurrent.